What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to the animated short Sunset. I didn't realize it was going to be releasing today. I thought it was going to be tomorrow, but regardless, I'm super hyped to have it right now. But from what it looked like in the special program, it looked like this is going to be covering a lot of Mavuika's past 500 years ago, so I'm very excited to see what that's like. And I don't want to delay it any further, so feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and let's get into it. It's 10 minutes long.
You'll do great, even 2 against 1.
Okay, I can already spot a few of the heroes.
I propose a toast to the two who are no longer with us.
Oh.
Sanhaj and Brakina.
Oh, are those the other two heroes?
They'll both be missed. Even though Sanhaj wasn't that much of a talker.
And yet the news of his death rings loud and clear, a rallying cry in our hearts.
Hero! He died a hero!
Oh God, you're drunk.
Huh?
Now a second toast to the Pyro Archon, in whom we place all of our trust.
All right.
Here's to her courage, indomitable will, and magnificent plan!
I just wish she would have joined us for tonight.
God, that guy is big.
Sharing a drink with us.
She's making a 500-year trip alone. If it were me, my emotions would be all over the place.
Yeah.
Give her some time.
This final toast is to us. And to our impending death, both grim and glorious.
God.
Certain defeat tomorrow. We'll march to our deaths, eh?
Interesting.
So, you ready to face it, Tupac?
God, he's so big.
Says who? Our sacrifice will feed the sacred flame, paving the way for true victory in 500 years.
Yeah.
I am ready. Natlanese warriors don't fear death. Am I right, Menelek? Menelek?
I'm already loving the characterization of these guys.
Let him sleep.
This is effectively
Fearlessness
half
is
an
one
anime
thing,
episode. It's
but
insane.
to nap in the face of death? You don't see that every day.
Hi, Mavuika.
Sunset. The sky burns bright tonight. Just like the day I took office.
That's a way to call it.
Hine, what are you doing?
Mom said you shouldn't stare at bright flames, or you'll hurt your eyes. And I heard that you're the brightest flame of all now.
Oh.
So, I'm covering my eyes.
I'm loving the outfit.
Hine, take your arm away.
Oh,
The hair is interesting.
your flames
It's not
aren't
quite
blinding at all.
identical to
They're
what
so
we've seen of it.
warm, like the setting sun. Everyone looks at it, but
Transparency
no
is
one gets hurt.
interesting.
Mavuika?
Hine, do you think there'll be sunsets like this in the far future too?
Oh. Okay, back to the heroes.
So this is where I meet my end. It's sobering.
When Tanoch summoned us, you should have
God, is
seen
he
this
still
day
passed
coming.
out?
Hey,
Just
you
drops
recovered
him.
yet, Menelek?
With a fierce battle to sober me up, I will be soon enough!
Let's show the Abyss that if they want to take our lives, it's gonna cost them dearly.
Friends,
Mavuika arrives with them.
in this final battle, may you burn bright until the end. Natlan will remember this day.
Okay, let's see what we get here. Giant water hammer. God. Ooh. Oh, come on. We don't see more of the fight?
Menelek's headlock was so strong, it outlived him. That giant beast suffocated to death because it couldn't break free from a dead man's grip.
Oh, Jesus.
And Sunjata fell too soon. If he hadn't taken that hit to save Wanjiru, he'd have lasted a lot longer. A senseless sacrifice, considering we were all gonna die anyway.
Tupac.
You're awake. I knew you'd pull through. To keep the plan on track, I thought I'd give you a lift here.
God.
You're...
Look, we're almost there. You are our flame. You have to burn on and never go out.
Tupac.
Did he die standing? That's insane. Oh. Oh. He's on her bike now. I mean, we're in the modern day? Looks like her modern outfit. Yeah, that's her modern outfit. So just a glimpse of the past then. Huh.
That sunset is the only thing in sight. I don't know how far I've come.
Broken rest stop of some kind? Oh.
I don't even know where this road leads.
Going back? No. What's going on?
Where am I heading?
Just different broken down rest stops?
I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it looks like different ones.
I feel lost, but this is the only road there is. I guess
her
maybe
sister.
I'll take a break.
Will you? Meeting back up with your sister somehow?
Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm waiting for sunset.
Ah.
But it never sets here.
Interesting. This feels like not a real space. This feels more metaphorical.
It will. When the time comes.
The music is interesting. He looks tired.
Have you heard the saying? After the evening flame burns away all evil, the peaceful night will finally arrive.
The evening flame.
She looks tired.
Hey sis, you have a mission to do. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Remembering her sister is what brings that light back to her eyes. Shit.
I do. There's people watching this sky. I can't keep them waiting. Hine,
She's already gone. Oh, of course it's this song.
That's right. I never lost my way. I'm still on track.
Yeah. Oh, the lit up hair is great.
My destination has been right there all along.
Going straight for the sunset. She made it?
We all have made many sacrifices and faced our inner demons. But
Both
finally,
generations of heroes.
we
and
are
us.
here. Natlan has suffered long enough.
That it has.
By nightfall, this war will be over!
By nightfall, you say.
For Natlan!
Or Natlan. So we're not going to go line by line like I sometimes do, just because this is more so a half-length episode of a show than it is an actual short. I mean, it's almost 11 minutes long after all. And also a lot of the dialogue, at least in the initial bit, is interesting to look at cohesively, but on its own individual lines don't necessarily hold a ton of meaning. So we start by going to a familiar location in Natlan as we see 4 of the heroes. 4 of the original heroes. And we learn that 2 of them have already died. We also learn that the plan is already in motion. The heroes are aware of this plan, and they simply are walking towards their deaths so that 500 years from now, Natlan may be saved. With the exception of Mavuika, who will go on 500 years into the future. For the time being, they're toasting to their dead friends, and they're toasting to the Pyro Archon, to Mavuika, who, in a way, is carrying the biggest burden, and they recognize that. We have the big guy just wishing that she could have been there to be drinking with them this last night. But then she acknowledges that she's making a 500-year trip alone. She has a lot on her mind. Even though she very well may want to spend the evening with everyone, as she says, her emotions are probably all over the place, and she probably is wrestling with a lot of mixed feelings. But then almost jovially, they're talking about how this final toast is to their own deaths, both grim and glorious. They refill their cups, and with a certain amount of morbid humor, contemplate the fact that they are marching towards their own death. But clearly they are all directly invested in Mavuika's plan and confident that it will work, and thus are in no way concerned with the loss of their own lives, as they know the true victory and the true test will be 500 years from now, with the people who inherit their titles, their legacies. And besides, Natlanese warriors don't fear death. And they just all laugh because it's their last night of jovial happiness until they die. But then we shift to Mavuika, who is watching the sunset on a distant cliffside. And she calls out the sunset and remembers when she first became the Pyro Archon and how this sunset is much the same. This serves to transition to a cute interaction between her and her younger sister, as her sister says that she learned you shouldn't stare at bright flames and that she had heard that Mavuika has become the brightest flame of them all, so it might be dangerous to look at you. And I gotta say, I love this style of Mavuika. The hair is like mostly the same but slightly different, and the outfit is similar aesthetic but very distinctly different, which I feel is fitting for this being 500 years prior. Also, very cutely, her sister is covering the eyes of their Saurian, but then being told that she can just lower her arm, it's fine. She very tentatively does, and lets go of the Saurian, who jumps up to climb onto Mavuika's shoulder, snuggle up against her, and immediately her sister, Hime, is amazed by her hair. And then there's that comparison to the setting sun that is made. The idea that her hair, her very identity now, is that of the setting sun, which I feel could be pointing towards that inevitable doom she is moving towards by setting up this plan and eventually using the power of the ruler of death. She is a glorious shining star, a burning flame, but that will go out in the end, is a purely transitory entity. I don't think that's necessarily what her sister was implying when saying that, but I can't help but notice that as a potential metaphor being made. But another thing I very much like is the way they do her hair here, because in this shot, it has this almost like translucent see-through aspect to it, which is really interesting visually. But then shifting out of the past and back to the present, she asks her sister, do you think there will be sunsets like this in the far future too? There was a sunset when she first became Pyro Archon and was with her sister. There's another one just like it, the night that she goes out alongside her closest friends and allies to shepherd them towards their own deaths for her plan. And she wonders if there will continue to be sunsets like that 500 years from now where she is destined to be. But we don't get an answer. Instead, we return to the heroes as they arrive at the battleground for their very death. And we can see here that all of their boasts and morbid amusement with their own oncoming death was not just pure bravado, but stays with them even when they are just one step away. They're all laughing and smiling as they're ready to show the Abyss one last time what they're capable of. And then Mavuika arrives. She is the only one who isn't smiling. This isn't the end of her story. She has so much more to do, and so much more burden on her. The rest of them have vowed to give up their lives here, and are doing so happily. Mavuika still has a nation to rule and a plan to fulfill, and she is also about to watch all her friends die, as she vows that Natlan will remember this day. And they charge into battle, each of them unleashing their own massive attacks, showing the sheer scale of their power. Truly, these are the heroes of Natlan within their era. But beyond that initial showcase of power, we only see the scale of their opponent and then move on to see the aftermath. As from there, we effectively get narration from Tupac of how each of the heroes died in that battle. Menelek's headlock was so strong it outlived him. The giant beast suffocated to death. One of them was so powerful and determined to defeat this monster that even after death, they could not be stopped, and Sunjata fell too soon. If he hadn't taken that hit to save Wanjiru, he'd have lasted a lot longer. A senseless sacrifice considering we were all gonna die anyway, showing that even though they walked into that battle knowing that it was the end for all of them, none of them other than Mavuika was walking out of there alive. That didn't mean that they could just stand by and watch each other die without doing the best they could to save each other. It may have been senseless given the end objective of this all, but that doesn't mean that it's all right to not protect your allies, not protect your friends. If everyone is going down anyways, it's best for them to go down in the ways that is best for them, the ways that they feel is right. And it's at this point that, clearly battered and bruised and injured herself, Mavuika wakes up and realizes that Tupac is alive and carrying her, acknowledging his confidence in her and essentially saying, to keep the plan on track, to make sure there was no bumps in the road, I thought I'd give you a lift here. I may be dying like the plan expects, but that doesn't mean I can't give you just this last bit of help. And it's obvious to both of them that he's gonna die, but he shifts the attention to the fact that she's almost to where she needs to be, and states that she is their flame, and that she has to burn on and never go out. She is the hope of Natlan. If she goes out, everything ends. And it's here that we see, finally, his injuries. An entire section of his torso a bloody mess, as at this point he probably is already dead, still standing despite that. And then we shift to another sunset. The sun even lower in the sky than the time before we see Mavuika riding on her motorcycle, showing that this is the modern day, or at least much closer to it. I believe that this entire section is not literal. It is not something that is literally happening as much as it is a metaphorical internal struggle and representation of her journey. She has always and continuously been moving forward towards the sunset, never letting the sun escape her sight, chasing the light, but she's been alone this entire time. She has allies, and the people of Natlan never fight alone, but for her plan to work, she has essentially isolated herself in many ways. The majority of the burden of everything to save Natlan, if not the entire world of Teyvat, weighs on her specifically. As she says, the sunset is the only thing in sight. There's nothing else. Just the burning light of the sunset. I don't know how far I've come, and we come across a broken down pit stop. One of many. Looks like it might even say 66 there. But we go to another, and then another, and another. She doesn't know where the road leads, she's just following it, because she knows if she stops for good, everything will be for nothing. Another and another, the number going up and up when we see the occasional sign, and she can't even remember where she's going. She's just going because she knows she needs to, but she feels lost. She may feel lost, but she knows it's the only road there is. If she tries to find a different path, that will mean that all the road she has covered so far will have been for nothing. She can't see the end or the beginning. She just knows that she has to keep going. And it's here that her sister begins to appear at these pit stops, perhaps as a temptation of sorts for her to stop and relax for a moment. She accepts that she should take a break. She decides maybe it would be best for me, and she comes to a stop here, at one of the pit stops where her sister is at. She sits down, leans back. Already we can tell she's clearly exhausted. And she asks, "Who are you? Why are you here?" And whether or not this is meant to be that she literally doesn't recognize her sister, she's so lost at this point, and it's been so long that she can't even recognize her own younger sister, or she knows that it can't be her sister because her sister has been gone for so long, so she's wondering who this really is. I feel like realistically it's one of the two, if not maybe somehow both. I'm not entirely sure. Yume just looks at her, smiles, sits up, and says, "I'm waiting for sunset." And to that, she just lets out a deep breath and leans forward. As she says, it never sets here. The sun never sets. It's always hanging low in the sky, but never disappearing. The burden on her is incredibly clear in this moment. Despite the statement from Mavuika that the sunset never comes, this road never ends, this seems endless, I feel lost, I keep going because I know I need to, but it is beginning to feel pointless with how endless it is. But it's her sister that assures it will when the time comes. When the time is right, this road will end, the sun will set. As long as you just keep going, you'll reach it. And it's here where we get the first real shot of her eyes after sitting down, and we can see how tired she is. But meanwhile, Yume is just playing with her hair, and asks, "Have you heard the saying, after the evening flame burns away all evil, the peaceful night will finally arrive?" That burning light right before the end, once it has burned away all evil, that's when the sun will have set and night will come peacefully. And Mavuika just looks over, still incredibly tired, and repeats, "The evening flame?" And it's here the first time that Hime refers to Mavuika as sister in this interaction, saying, "Hey sis, you have a mission to do, remember? Why are you sitting down here feeling so hopeless when you still have a job to do?" But it's not absconding, it's just happily reminding her. And prior to now, there's been a darkness in the light of her eyes, being reminded by her sister why she's on this road, that she has a mission, that so many people's legacies and fates ride on her. The light begins to return, and she stands up, looking back the way she's come, can't see where she started, but then she looks forward and says, "I do. There's people watching this sky. I can't keep them waiting. Everyone is watching and waiting for the sunset, for the peaceful night to come when this war is over. And I can't keep them waiting. I need to let the night come. I need to banish all evil." And she turns and calls to her sister, but she's already gone. She may not have truly ever been there. But at the very least, the memory of her sister is what pushes her on. Takes a deep breath, gets on her bike and says, "That's right. I never lost my way. I'm still on track. I never lost this road. I just became confused." And her hair ignites, and she speeds up ever faster. "My destination has been right there all along. I never lost sight of it. The sunset is my goal. The peaceful night I will bring." Shifting scenarios, her standing before the sunset. We all have made many sacrifices, showing the 6 original heroes, who gave up their lives believing in her plan, and faced our inner demons, showing the people of Natlan as a whole and the new heroes, those who have fought their inner demons and come out stronger, embodying the titles that they have inherited, and we are among them. But finally we are here. Natlan has suffered long enough. These 500 years have been far too long for anyone. By nightfall, this war will be over. The sun will set, the peaceful night will come, and this war will have ended, and Natlan will be safe. This is her vow. This final sunset is the end of this war. All that is needed is that final step. Whether or not it brings her death, that's for us to see soon. But she will march forward confidently, bravely, like her lost friends, and it will be for Natlan. This, I think, is a perfect setup for the climax of this story. This shows us the weight of 500 years worth of planning and dedication and bravery of the people of Natlan to win this war against the Abyss and come out on top. And Mavuika stands strong as Natlan's leader in this time, ready to lay down her life if necessary to achieve that goal. And with that, I will end things here. I believe I covered things pretty thoroughly, and I am incredibly excited for the release of 5.3 and the end of this storyline. But before I finish this video, one thing I will mention to anyone who is still watching, I am actually going to be going on vacation for a couple weeks, and therefore won't actually be able to get videos out during that time, which realistically means that Mavuika's demo and teaser I won't be able to immediately get to, among other things. But it shouldn't be too long, and once I get back from vacation, I will immediately get to doing videos again, and I intend to make videos on everything I missed. So look forward to those once I'm back. And for now, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe if you did, and leave a comment on your thoughts. I hope you all had a great day. Goodbye.